Why I wanted to do this? I think it's 'cause I wanted to improve my creativity and wanted to. Well, I've always wanted to make my own carnival costume for years now, and this is my first opportunity to actually do it. I initially wanted to be a fashion designer. Well, that's what I'm looking on doing now in college. But doing this, I've also learned how to sew properly by learning how to hem these circles here. I've had to sew them with the help of Mrs. Condor, my mentor's wife, and hopefully I'll be able to learn more in the future. It's helped me by learning how to sew properly. It's also expanded my creative mind in a way, learning how to scale properly by the little model that I've done, and then I'll use other tools when making this costume. So with the designing, I was asked to first do some sketches of what I wanted to make, and then from those sketches we then chose three that I'd put into little models, which will then divide down into one, which will turn into this. Source of materials, that will be different types of fabric, which would be, I think, mostly different coloured satin fabrics. There is white foam, I think it's called red gilly, and then feathers and sequins. Making the costume, I've had lots of help with how to properly make it. I think I had the most difficulty with putting these circles together, because at first I didn't know how to properly do them. But then, after learning how to do it properly, I did it, then making these perfect, well, close to perfect. Learning it. I think other bits like the plane, though I didn't make it, I learned how to. For when in the future, if I wanted to do it again, I'd know how to do it. It's the costume to the person, I think it is, because with the harness, it has to be put down to your shoulder level, and it has to be bent so it fits perfectly on you. So it will be costume to person. Fitting the costume to me, it was not. You had to start with just nothing on it at first, and then my mentor had to bend it multiple times to try and make sure it fitted perfectly on my shoulders. It was a fun experience. The wind was difficult. Yeah, other than that, it was very fun. My theme when I first did this was high esteem, because I wanted to work on, well, my first initial idea was to base it on the company itself, and then my mentor had to think, if he meant like confidence, which I can also relate to that too. When you're most confident, you feel like you're high in the clouds, and that's where all these clouds come from. And then I thought, it's going to be quite plain without one, so I put a plane there instead with it. Things that we had to change was the height, because it was too big to even fit in the room when we first put it up. The scale of the plane we had to change, because it would have been too long and it would be lowered down to me, which wasn't very good, so I had to shorten it a bit. That would have to be spray painting, I think. Spray painting the circles and the skirt here, because I've never actually worked with spray paint before, so learning how to properly do that was quite fun. And the little, we had to use different templates to make the cloud effects, which my mentor showed me how to do. It was quite a fun little task to do. I did have to learn a routine for an NMS, but then I did it on the road as well. It was hard to do though in this costume. Um, I would have added some other sequence of feathers to that orange bit here because it's quite left just blank. So I would have done something to add a bit more colour to it. How to hem properly, which is how we used to do this. I can use that to take along with me in my fashion ideas in the future. Yeah, yeah, I'd recommend it to another 16-year-old so that they can experience the creativity as well, like I did, and learn about Carnival in another perspective of another designer. That'll be good that other 16-year-olds and young people can experience such a good, a great time with Carnival. I've spoken to 3 other designers, just looking at their costumes and how they've been making them, and they're all quite different in their own way. The other young designer, Tyrese, I saw his designs for his costumes, and I did want to take that into note for a future date.